I never imagined I'd meet her again on a prostitution bust. She was naked, entangled with a fat man. The moment her eyes met mine, her beautiful chest heaved violently. My vision blurred red. Violating every rule, I discreetly fined that obese bastard 50,000 yuan dote. I snarled a warning. If he dared to breathe a word, I'd expose his filth to every single one of his relatives. The gleaming handcuffs snapped shut around her wrists. I barked at her to follow me. She scrambled, crawling pitifully at my feet like a lost stray dog. It wasn't until we were clear of the hotel that she finally stood, her fist slamming into my chest. Is playing cop really that much fun? We were con artists, a pair of born scammers, truly limitless. I peeled off the fake police uniform, playfully shaking a bank card in my hand towards Chen Xiao Dao. That fat bastard is probably still waiting obediently in the hotel for the real police to come for him, isn't he? It's absolutely priceless. She shot me a glance, taking a sip of wine. Impersonating an officer is a serious crime, you know. We could have just pretended to be my boyfriend and girlfriend like before. I waved a dismissive hand. No way. People are getting stingier these days. They'd rather take a beating than cough up money. They might not dare to offend a boyfriend, but they definitely won't risk offending the police. Chen Xiao smiled, her full red lips drawn closer, her breath sweet like orchids. My gaze flickered to her chest, and suddenly the image from earlier that day flashed in my mind, a wave of disgust rising within me. Stay away from me. I pushed her away. Did that old pervert touch you all over? Her lips curled into a smirk. Not just all over. I said nothing, roughly downing my drink. Chen Xiao laughed, a wild, uninhibited sound. We're always acting, aren't we? Each of us has our own needs. Don't go taking it seriously now. I immediately grinned. How was my acting? She gave me a thumbs up. You really are a born con artist. I never thought a scammer like me would ever be conned. The next day, Chen Xiao was gone, and with her, that bank card. My temples throbbed as I muttered curses, then sprinted out of the hotel. A police car abruptly blocked my path. 7 or 8 officers immediately surrounded me. Shoo! Cheng, don't move. You're under arrest. As their hands dragged me to the ground, I still, foolishly, worried about Chen Xiao. Had she been arrested too? To my disbelief, when I looked up, I saw her, that radiant, beautiful face, appearing on an airport bus. Chen Xiao, from behind the bus window, waved goodbye to me from a distance. Bye-bye. Damn you all. The last word hadn't even left my lips before a powerful punch landed squarely on my face. Every day in my cell, I replayed Chen Xiao's image in my mind. I was terrified I'd forget her face. Afraid I wouldn't find her when I got out. Afraid I wouldn't be able to land a solid punch on her face. Afraid I wouldn't be able to grab her slender neck and tell her, "You damn scammers." Days turned into weeks, then months. I chanted slogans, worked the sewing machine, trudged along with the crowds. Sunrises, sunsets. I traced the deepening wrinkles on my face, suddenly realizing the fire of anger in my heart was slowly dying. Because every night, I constantly reminded myself, never let that little bitch off the hook. When I get out, I must find her. I must see her. Want to see her? Yeah, I miss her. After my release, the first place I went was a small town in the south. It was the only place we ever had a fixed address together. Although many years had passed, I wasn't sure if it would still be there. But besides that place, I seemed to have nowhere else to go. Fortunately, that dilapidated house had stubbornly resisted years of urban redevelopment, still standing defiantly before me. Perhaps because it was so ancient, it looked exactly as it did in my memory. Pushing open the door, everything within sight was covered in dust. Suddenly, I saw an envelope on the table. Huh? A strange feeling flickered in my heart. I opened it. Inside were a letter and a bank card. The handwriting was soft and lovely. I knew it intimately. Chu Cheng. By the time you read these lines, I'll be dead. I'm sorry for reporting you to the police and sending you to prison and for taking your money. But I had cancer then. Letting a bastard like you live freely would surely be a disaster. So, I used that method for you to reform yourself, so you could start anew. The money in the card is the fruit of our hard work all these years. You spend money like water, so I had to save a little for you. The password is my birthday. If you've forgotten my birthday by the time you get out, then you deserve to die poor. The word die was written in bold. I could almost see her sly, cold expression as she wrote that letter. The paper was yellowed, covered in small, dried water stains. I took a deep breath, neatly folding the letter. Chen Xiao, you've conned me again. If ghosts truly existed in this world, then Chen Xiao, after becoming a ghost, would surely torment me to death. Because I didn't follow any of her instructions, using the money to start a business, buy a house, or simply save for retirement. I ignored it all. The money was exchanged for countless bus tickets. My goal was simple, to find Chen Xiao's grave. She said so many things, yet forgot to tell me something so important. I felt so wronged. I could accept 8 years in prison, thinking about her, for 2,902 days, only for it to all amount to nothing in the end. No person, no grave. Chen Xiao, even if you've turned to dust, turned to flowers, you owe me an explanation. I muttered this to myself, traveling everywhere, from south to north, west to east, inquiring about her everywhere, but found not a single clue. Chen Xiao had completely concealed her whereabouts. I couldn't even trace which hospital she had died in. Day after day, I began what felt like an endless journey of reform. Perhaps even merciful heaven couldn't bear it any longer. After all, a madman poses no less danger to society than a con artist. So one day, on a bus in some small town in the northeast, I inadvertently looked out the window, and my entire body instantly trembled. Driver, stop the bus! Stop the bus now. My frantic banging on the window scared everyone. The driver cursed, pulled over, and opened the door. I shot out like an arrow, running like a mad dog towards that retreating figure. I screeched to a halt in the northeast, drenched in sweat, my breath ragged. Wait! The figure froze, turning in surprise. In that instant, both our pupils dilated. Yes, it was her. Chen Xiao was alive. Oh, but sitting in the thoughts, elpo, very big child, Only, before I could utter another word, she turned and fled. This time, I was even more certain it was her. I heavily pounded the black snow-dusted ground, leaving a trail of deep footprints. The biting cold air clawed at my throat, piercing my lungs. I gasped for breath, my back soaked with sweat, steam rising from my collar. Still, I couldn't catch up to that small figure ahead. I give up. How strange. 8 years of exercise in prison, and I still can't run as fast as her. She never used to run this fast. Anxious and panicked, yet a small comfort bloomed in my heart. At least she looked healthy. Each breath felt like I was choking on blood. I gritted my teeth, pumping my legs. I had a feeling this might be the last chance heaven would grant me. If I didn't catch her this time, it would be goodbye forever. Either catch her or run until I dropped dead. Over the dirt slope, I burst into a desolate forest. A house suddenly appeared before my eyes. I watched Chen Xiao slip inside, the door clicking shut behind her. "Ah!" I screamed, charging straight ahead. Crash! The iron door burst open under my assault. Oh my God! Before me, a bald man I'd knocked over. His face was a road map of wrinkles, his scalp bare but adorned with a white beard. I had no time for him. Barging straight inside, my calf was seized. His grip was immense. Rough, bony knuckles clamped around my shin. "What are you doing, friend? Why are you barging into someone's house like that?" A deep, heavy voice, typical of the Northeast. I gasped. "Let go. I'm here for Chen Xiao." The Master Baldy's expression changed the moment he heard Chen Xiao. The hand gripping my calf trembled slightly. "You're looking for her, friend." I followed the direction of his finger and froze. Hanging on the wall was a black and white photo of Chen Xiao. The Master Baldy said gloomily, "She died 8 years ago. Ha ha! Are you putting on a show for me?" I pulled my leg free and strode further into the inner room. From my observation, the room had no other exits. Chen Xiao was cornered. The deeper I went, the stronger the scent of pine wood grew. It was then I noticed the bizarre arrangement of the room. Golden talismans plastered the doors and walls, and the cotton curtains were adorned with indecipherable patterns. Wooden objects were displayed everywhere, many of them strange things I couldn't name. This place was not normal. A baseless panic seized my heart, and I blurted out her name. "Chen Xiao, I know you're in there." I pushed open the slightly ajar door, and a sudden cold draft snaked up my back. In the dark, square room, there was only one black coffin. The Master Baldy's voice echoed from behind me. "Don't believe it? Then open it and see for yourself." Inside the black coffin lay Chen Xiao's pale face. Master Baldy poured me a cup of tea. "You have many questions, but don't rush." I silently watched the tea in front of me, watching the rising steam gradually dissipate. Finally, I understood his words. Master Baldy spoke simply. He wasn't just any ordinary bald man. He knew a bit about metaphysics, specializing in fortune-telling, feng shui, and exorcisms. 8 years ago, he met Chen Xiao, who was at her wit's end, on the verge of death. At that time, she had terminal cancer, with no hope of recovery, so desperate that she began seeking help from gods and demons. Master Baldy immediately recognized Chen Xiao's extraordinary birth chart and dangerous fate. Coupled with her past as a talented con artist, this made her the perfect candidate to become a ghost performer. So, he performed a ritual for Chen Xiao. He used dark magic to suspend her dying soul at the boundary between yin and yang. From the perspective of the living, Chen Xiao had died of illness, but she hadn't truly entered the underworld. She had become something that was neither alive nor dead. This was also why Chen Xiao's body hadn't decomposed for 8 years. Only then could Chen Xiao become a ghost performer. She used her specialized con artistry to help Master Baldy exorcise demons in exchange for a suspended life at the boundary of yin and yang. Done speaking, Master Baldy pulled a thin stack of papers from inside his robe. Sign this contract, and I will perform the ritual for you too. After death, you can meet Chen Xiao at the boundary of yin and yang. I remained silent. Master Baldy chuckled. "Nay, me? Well, yes." Master Baldy chuckled. "Who are you?" you ask. Simply the fact that you can see her means it's undeniable. Chen Xiao. Her fate is strange, but not unique. In her destiny, there is another person of the opposite sex, deeply intertwined with her. You two, in our terms, are Mandarin duck players. Together, you can trick even the fiercest ghosts. Considering it, I stared into Master Baldy's serious eyes, slowly saying, I only spent 8 years in prison. And con artists outside have developed to this extent. I stood up, took out my phone. Old con artist, I'm calling the police to arrest you right now. Oh, and I need to call an ambulance too. After all, Chen Xiao, lying in that coffin, truly has no breath left, not even a terrifyingly cold body temperature. Master Baldy probably gave her some drug, a little delay, and there would truly be a murder case. As I prepared to press the call button, Master Baldy suddenly roared, If you don't believe me, then go to Mrs. Wang's house right now. Tonight, Chen Xiao will be there to trick a demon. He slammed a piece of paper onto the table. It was Chen Xiao's death certificate. The date of death was 8 years ago. You can disbelieve anything else you want. Feel free to call the police. Master Baldy's calm expression was a little unsettling. Moreover, after 8 years in prison, I was genuinely a bit paranoid about the police. In the end, I put my phone down. Watching the sun slowly set outside the window, I sighed. Rather than believing Master Baldy's deceptive words, there was something I believed more. That Chen Xiao wasn't dead. Although I didn't believe a single word Master Baldy said, I was willing to be fooled if it meant I could see her again. After all, I had searched for so many years. One more night wouldn't hurt. Under the twilight, the ancient objects in the room cast dark shadows. In the distant sky, a bleak, blood-red hue resonated with hoarse bird cries. Where is Mrs. Wang's house? Dongling Hill. My disciple, Chen San, is already there to make arrangements. I followed the direction of Master Baldy's finger, then suddenly remembered something. Turning back, I snapped a photo of Master Baldy's face. If I don't see Chen Xiao tonight, you can wait for prison. By the time I reached Mrs. Wang's house, it was almost completely dark. From a distance, I saw a thin, short figure crouching by the wall. He waved to me and stood up. "You're the one Master mentioned?" I froze, realizing this must be Master Baldy's disciple. Chen San's gaunt face showed little expression. He raised an eyebrow, a cunning look. "I hear you and that ghost woman are a pair of Mandarin ducks." I frowned, not wanting to waste time with him, and pushed the door open. A hand blocked me. "Don't rush. You won't see her until the hour of Z arrives," Chen San said in a low voice. "Let's clarify the rules first, to avoid you ruining tonight's ritual." He cleared his throat. "Once you step into this courtyard, no matter what happens inside, you must not leave before dawn." I peered through the large door crack into the darkness. In the center of the dark courtyard stood a black wooden house, not even a single light on. I asked, "Is anyone in the house?" "Only Mrs. Wang. She's been haunted for a few days, so her family sought my master's help." Victor, my master, took one look and knew Mrs. Li. "Wang was possessed by a very fierce ghost, which is why Chen Xiao was invited to put on a show," he whispered. "So tonight, there will be 2 fierce ghosts in that house. No living person dares to stay there. They've all fled to other places to avoid evil." I swallowed, looking at the pitch-black house with a shiver. Chen San continued after entering, "Don't touch any of the clutter, or Mrs. Wang. There's a bowl of black dog blood in the room. Dip your finger in a little and smear it on your eyelids, and you'll be able to see Chen Xiao. Ow. And remember, absolutely no physical contact with her." A biting night wind blew through, and I clutched my clothes, nodding silently. "If you still want to see the sun tomorrow morning, you absolutely must follow my words," he repeated, emphasizing. For some reason, even though I thought these might be their tricks, my heart couldn't help but feel a little tense. I took a deep breath and stepped into the large courtyard. The big iron gate slowly closed behind. Just before it fully shut, Chen San's gloomy voice reached my ears. "Good luck." Pushing the door open, a wave of deathly air assailed my nostrils, like the scent emanating from the dying. The entire room was shrouded in darkness, illuminated by weak candlelight. In the east, west, south, and north corners of the room, a long candle burned. There was no wind, yet the candlelight flickered faintly, and the shadows of objects in the room danced along with them. I couldn't help but hold my breath. On the table, in the center of the room, was a bowl containing something dark red. That must be black dog blood. The cold, viscous dog blood clung to my fingertip. I dipped my finger twice and smeared it on my eyelids. A slippery, cold sensation glided across them. Not daring to move recklessly, I found a nearby chair and sat down. The moment my butt touched the chair, I heard a trembling old woman's voice from not far away. "Who's there?" I froze, turning in the direction of the voice, discovering someone lying in the inner room. Because the entire room was very dark, I could only vaguely make out a shadow. Gently stepping into the inner room, I said, Is Miss Wang?" I've come to help you with the ritual tonight. The lie came out naturally. The old woman was lying on her side on the bed, her back to me, facing the wall. Her voice seemed to have become strange, as if something was rolling in her throat. What ritual? It's all just a scam. I thought to myself that this old woman was quite clear-headed. She remained in the same side-lying position, motionless, and I still couldn't see her face. Mrs. Wang continued, "Rituals are useless. Rituals can't harm it." No, sir. Mrs. Wang suddenly cackled, her voice growing deeper, no longer sounding like an old woman. Goosebumps erupted on my back. Her voice suddenly rose, maniacal. "What can the living Strix do to it?" I turned and ran straight out. Behind me, Mrs. Wang's wild laughter had transformed into a man's voice. At the same time, the candles in the four corners began to flicker violently. The shadows in the room trembled, as if they had come alive. I felt cold sweat streaming down my back. That fear made me want to run out of this house immediately. But when I thought of Chen Xiao, why aren't you here yet? I gritted my teeth, stopping my retreat, and with all my courage turned back to look at the room again. What the hell? I nearly screamed. Clearly, a moment ago, only Mrs. Wang was on the bed. In the blink of an eye, there was another person. Although it was just a pitch-black shadow, the figure was definitely that of a grown man. At this moment, he was pressing down on Mrs. Wang's back, his hands clasped around her neck. "Hey, what are you doing?" I roared with all my courage, but every word came out trembling. The man lying on Mrs. Wang's back slowly turned his head. It was a pallid, grayish face, a face that didn't belong to the living. He cackled. "You can see me, huh? You see me, and you're not running away? You don't want to live?" I froze, unable to move. My feet felt rooted to the ground. When the next second, Mrs. Wang beneath him suddenly cursed, "The one who doesn't want to live." "It's you." The voice was incredibly familiar. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. The ghost also froze. Before he could react, Mrs. Wang delivered a powerful kick to the man's chest, sending his entire body flying through the air. Mrs. Wang sprang up, pulling a red string from her clothes, and quickly lassoed it around the man's neck. Only then, in the candlelight, did I clearly see Mrs. Wang's face. It wasn't Mrs. Wang at all. It was Chen Xiao, whom I had longed for day and night. She had been here all along. The man, choked by the red string, instantly stiffened, unable to make a sound, only beginning to convulse. Chen Xiao tightened her grip, looking over coldly, her beautiful face in the candlelight like a classical oil painting. Those sharp, alluring eyes truly seemed to pierce through flesh, straight into the soul. That man, when he was alive, was Mrs. Wang's son. 3 years ago, at Mrs. Wang's urging, he returned home from the city for the Lunar New Year. Unexpectedly, he died in a car accident along the way, filled with resentment and unable to rest in peace, thus becoming a ghost. Afterwards, he clung to his mother, believing she was responsible for his death. Master Baldy showed me a black and white photo. In the picture was precisely the man who had appeared at Mrs. Wang's house last night. Last night's experience shattered my atheist perceptions. If the man's sudden appearance could be explained as him hiding beforehand, then Chen Xiao's subsequent actions could only be described as miraculous. After she lassoed the man with the red string, he first convulsed uncontrollably. A few seconds later, his joints seemed to shatter, all the joints in his body twisting and shrinking. Finally, click, 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 he compacted into an egg the size of a fist. The scene was so bizarre that it was still vividly dancing in my mind, even after a night. Now, that egg rested neatly in Chen Xiao's palm. She sat cross-legged on the black coffin, rubbing the egg like an old man rubbing walnuts. Looking closely, the man's face could still be discerned on the egg. His limbs and features were all twisted into a single mass, like a lump of colored clay crumpled by a primary school student. I felt a little disgusted and shifted my gaze to Chen Xiao's face. She noticed me looking, her eyes a little evasive. 8 years without seeing each other, a touch of shyness. Chen Xiao, I was about to speak when Master Baldy entered. He looked at me. You saw how Chen Xiao dealt with that ghost last night, didn't you? That is the power of a ghost performer, something no mage or witch in this world can compare to, Master Baldy muttered. Because ghosts are creatures of the yin realm, and humans live in the yang realm. The two cannot communicate, and humans and ghosts cannot harm each other. So no matter how powerful a witch is, they cannot catch ghosts. If humans and ghosts cannot harm each other, then why was Mrs. Wang haunted? Good question. Master Baldy gave a thumbs up. While ghosts cannot cause physical harm to humans, they can affect their minds. Because they themselves are a type of invisible energy, they can alter the human electromagnetic field, brainwave states, and so on. In short, the harm ghosts inflict on humans comes from their very nature. When a person's mental environment is affected by ghosts, that's what we commonly call being haunted. These half-superstitious, half-scientific words left me dumbfounded. Therefore, to deal with such situations, special entities like ghost performers are needed. They are neither yin nor yang, neither dead nor alive. They can interact physically with ghosts and also serve as a medium to carry the magic of yang realm sorcerers. They are truly unique in exorcising and catching ghosts. I looked towards Chen Xiao, who was sitting on the coffin lid. Many years had passed, but she was exactly as I remembered her, completely unchanged. Chen Xiao's lifespan had forever stopped 8 years ago. She simply continued to exist in a different form. The layer of black dog, blood on my eyelids had dried after a night, and every blink felt uncomfortable, like my skin was tearing. I couldn't bear to wash it off. If I did, I wouldn't be able to see her anymore. Master Baldy seemed to anticipate my feelings. He once again pulled out that contract from his pocket, his face full of smiles. So, have you considered it? Master Baldy swallowed. You two are a rare and hard-to-find pair of mandarin ducks. If you can cooperate, no matter how fierce a ghost is, it won't be able to stop you. Just imagine how many lives, how many families you two could save together. How many? I raised my hand to signal him to be quiet. My eyes were fixed on Chen Xiao. The weren't idiot and only gappies. The ended, letting Xiao to wall. I want to hear your thoughts. She frowned, silent for a moment, then softly parted her red lips. Of course, I hope you can come be with me. Fighting ghosts alone is terrifying. But I waved my hand, not letting her finish what she was about to say, and turned to Master Baldy. Okay, he beamed, his mouth stretching to his ears, eagerly handing me the contract. No need to sign this. Just perform the ritual for me. Master Baldy asked suspiciously. What do you mean? You want to perform the ritual for yourself? Right now? I nodded. Master Baldy's eyes widened. My friend, are you joking? Are you joking? We said we'd do it for you when you die. Don't you want to leave anymore? Chen Xiao also looked anxious, raising an eyebrow at me. I could tell she was about to scold me. Resolutely, I licked my thumb, and in 2 or 3 wipes, cleaned the dried blood from my eyelids. The next second, Chen Xiao vanished from my sight, both form and sound. On the black coffin lid, only that strangely shaped ghost egg remained. I turned to Master Baldy, nodding forcefully. I don't want to wait until I die. Besides, what if you die before me? Master Baldy nearly fainted upon hearing this, his face turning red. You certainly know how to talk. Don't worry. I have many young disciples. I guarantee they can wait until that day. I shook my head, saying, I spent 8 years in there. I'm completely out of touch with society. Although they say it's to reform my life, an uneducated scoundrel like me can't find any decent work. Waiting for Chen Xiao to be gone, I'd probably just go back to my old ways. These past few years, searching for Chen Xiao has drained what little faith I had left. For the rest of my life, I see no hope, no family, no friends, no future. The only person I trusted became something half human, half ghost. My life isn't worth living anymore. Therefore, Master, I clasp my hands respectfully. Please help me become a ghost performer right now. I will use this path to atone for my sins, to repay this world. Master Baldy was stunned. He blinked, and a sentence escaped his throat. You rascal, you almost tricked me again. You simply can't wait to be with Chen Xiao, can you? I grinned. You saw right through me. When I was alive, not only could I not touch Chen Xiao, but I even needed black dog blood just to see her. It's truly too troublesome. Plus, teaming up with her to catch ghosts sounds really interesting. I can't even wait anymore. So, when will you arrange the ritual for me? I'll commit suicide immediately. Master Baldy was stunned, then said gravely, You don't need to go to such trouble. To become a ghost performer, you only need to complete a simple ritual with Chen Xiao Doi. What ritual? He slowly uttered 2 words. Consummate marriage. Master Baldy and I fell silent simultaneously. A moment later, I held out my hand to him. Give me the black dog blood. I need to consult the other party about this. After smearing the black dog blood on my eyelids, Chen Xiao's face appeared right before my eyes. She was less than a centimeter away from me. I could even feel her breath. I immediately realized it was an illusion. She had no breath. See? I have no problem with it, but it's up to you if you accept. Chen Xiao's large round eyes stared at me, making me shiver a little. Suddenly, she snorted coldly and said, "Xu Cheng, you haven't reformed successfully these past 8 years." I was stunned. What's wrong? Chen Xiao raised an eyebrow, half smiling, half frowning. Such a big decision, and you're making it. When did you ever ask for my opinion first? Red candles, silk curtains, a sleepless night. The dim candlelight flickered through the blue silk. Chen Xiao and I sat facing each other on the large blood-red bed. Her face was as white as winter snow. Her hair black as a waterfall. Her lips red like a cold plum blossom in the snow. Solitary and alluring. How did you get even more beautiful after dying? I blurted out. Chen Xiao glared at me. You haven't touched a woman in 8 years. If a wild boar were sitting opposite you, you'd think it was beautiful too. Not a wild boar, I corrected. At least a domestic pig. A cold wind howled outside the window, a faint blue light flickering on the horizon. It's almost dawn. The candlelight swayed, my gaze fixed like 2 nails on her face. I said, when we were alive, I introduced you to this profession, but now I should call you my senior. Tell me what I need to pay attention to as a ghost performer. Chen Xiao thought for a moment, then said, there's nothing much to pay attention to. Just follow Master Baldy's instructions. He'll give us different tools and tell us how to use them. We just need to team up to subdue the ghosts and hand them over to him. Hand them over to him? Yes, she said. Do you remember that egg twisted into a lump yesterday? I'll never forget it. That's actually called a demon core, and it can be understood as a compressed form of a ghost. After certain conditions are met, they can be released and used for one's own purposes. Of course, very few people in this world know this art. Even Master Baldy doesn't. So what does he collect demon cores for? I don't know. Chen Xiao shrugged. Maybe for a souvenir? I stood up and lit a cigarette. Do you remember a scam we pulled a long time ago? What scam? We pretended to be National Survey staff and successfully conned a team of archaeology professors and students from a university. Thanks to their expertise, we excavated an ancient tomb. Chen Xiao finished my thought. Then we sold all the artifacts on the black market, made a huge sum. But it also landed you in prison for 3 years. Chen Xiao asked suspiciously, why are you suddenly thinking about that? I shook my head, extinguishing the cigarette in my hand. Nothing. The faint light of early morning crept through the window. The entire room was enveloped in a deep blue hue. I casually straightened the blanket, but my eyes remained fixed on the corner of the wall not far away. I don't know when, but a thin black shadow had appeared there. It stood upright in the darkness like an ancient tree. Its entire body merged with the shadows. Only the 2 eyes on its face had no trace of black. Those stark white eyes. Who knew how long they had been there? Something's wrong, I whispered. Chen Xiao, beside me, quietly stood up. She had clearly also noticed the strange shadow. Her eyes stared straight at the corner of the wall, and in that instant, her beautiful eyes flickered with a hint of blood-red light. At the same time, Chen Xiao's hands, which were resting under her pillow, slowly withdrew. I looked closely and gasped. In those slender, fair hands, she held two sharp, cold daggers. Each dagger was as long as an arm, but the blades were as thin as cicada wings, and the points so sharp they gleamed blindingly. I believed they could cut through bone. Damn it! Why were you hiding this under your pillow? That's dangerous. Dangerous. What's there to be afraid of? Chen Xiao's lips curled slightly. They're not for killing people. These are weapons specifically designed to deal with ghosts from the netherworld. Suddenly, a blast of cold air rushed from the front. Goosebumps erupted uncontrollably all over my body. The moment I turned my head, those stark white eyes, completely devoid of black, were right in front of me. Oh my God! Before I could scream, these eyes suddenly rotated 360 degrees, spewing cold, black blood. It was then I realized that what was rotating wasn't its eyes, but its entire head. In a flash, the two daggers in Chen Xiao's hands sliced across its neck, creating a blood-red wave of wind at incredibly high speed. Time seemed to stand still, the droplets of blood before me like meteors, suspended in the universe. The planet surrounded by blood droplets was the head, separated from its body, flying through the air. The next second, each droplet of blood turned into a falling iceberg, and the planet flew away very quickly. Swish! When Chen Xiao retrieved the daggers back into her hands, its head dropped to the ground with a thud. I was speechless with astonishment at Chen Xiao's speed. She looked at me and smiled. Look closely and don't blink. You still have a lot to learn. I couldn't help but blurt out, "Holy shit, that was so cool!" Before I could express my admiration, a loud "oh crap" growl brought me back to reality. The old door was instantly blown open. A strong, putrid stench immediately filled the entire room. Footsteps clattered, and countless black shadows surged in. Chen Xiao frowned. "Why are there so many suddenly?" I exclaimed in surprise. "What are these things? Ghosts?" The word had barely left her lips when she shot out like an arrow into the horde of black shadows. Swish! Swish! In the dim early morning light, wherever her blades flashed, a wave of blood rose. Blood splattered, and the heads of the ghosts fell in unison. The twin daggers in Chen Xiao's hands, twisting and thrusting, created powerful gusts of wind. The blade light flashed incessantly, the sound of blades cutting flesh and bone ringing out continuously. She was like a dragon dancing amidst her enemies, cutting down heads like harvesting rice. Thick, red blood and bones rose, and wherever she went, black shadows collapsed. I watched, stunned. This wasn't killing ghosts. This was clearly art. Watching Chen Xiao kill the last ghost, she finally took a breath, turned, and smiled at me. I was just raising my thumb. The next second, a black rope whooshed her and looped around Chen Xiao's neck. "Ah!" she screamed terribly. Her legs gave out, and her body fell straight down. Snap! The rope tightened against her skin, getting tighter and tighter. Oh! Chen Xiao spat out a mouthful of black blood, the daggers slipping from her hands, and she fell to the ground with a thud. Motionless, a figure slowly emerged from behind her. A familiar voice echoed in my ears. You two fools! It was all a scam. Master Baldy tightened the black rope in his hand, his eyes gleaming with malice. Master Baldy tightened the black rope tied around Chen Xiao, his left hand holding a visibly bulging bag. With each step he took, something inside the bag rattled. Master Baldy said, "This contains 100 demon cores, painstakingly collected for me by your ghost woman over the past 8 years. What do you want?" I tried to sound calm, but my hoarse voice betrayed me. "Naturally, I want to use both your lives to gain the power to control 100 ghosts." Master Baldy chuckled evilly. "To control 100 ghosts, you need a ghost performer, half yin and half yang, as a conduit, and you need 2 of them. Ghost performers are extremely difficult to find. Apart from Chen Xiao, dozens of terminal cancer patients died under my hand, and only her case was successful. Initially, I thought my life was hopeless, but then you delivered yourself right into my hands. Truly, heaven sent." Master Baldy excitedly shook the bag in his hand. His face beamed. Consummating marriage with a ghost performer can turn one into a ghost performer. This is also a secret remedy I only learned about a few days ago. Initially, I thought if you died, I would continue to find many other men to sleep with Chen Xiao until it succeeded. I never expected it to work on the first try. How lucky! I gritted my teeth, cheeks puffed out, clenching my fists. Master Baldy put the bag down and pulled out an identical black rope from his robe. "It's pointless talking to you two anymore. I can only wish you luck in your next life. Ah, I forgot. When a ghost performer dies, there is no next life. You two won't even become ghosts." My chest heaved violently, my entire body trembling. Even Chen Xiao, so powerful, was easily subdued by Master Baldy. Let alone me? I didn't have enough lives to die. Although ghost performers are the enemies of ghosts, they have no way to deal with humans. Their half yin, half yang nature is both their sharpest weapon and their greatest weakness. No matter how strong, a ghost performer can hardly resist the methods of human sorcerers. This was also why Master Baldy had been so confident for 8 years. He knew that Chen Xiao could never harm him. Facing this desperate situation, I helplessly closed my eyes, feeling the black rope in Master Baldy's hand, looping around my neck from both sides. He drew closer and closer, simultaneously increasing the force in his hands. I frowned, gradually feeling suffocated. This pain made me restless. I abruptly stood up, lunging directly at Master Baldy with a punch. Thud! Aha! A dull sound echoed, the sensation of skin contact clearly transmitted through my knuckles. Master Baldy let out a terrible cry, directly knocked to the ground by my punch. His posture was exactly like the first time I met him. The difference was that this time he had lost another tooth. Puffed. Master Baldy bared his teeth, spat out a mouthful of blood, one hand clutching his left cheek, staring at me in horror. Quickly, I removed the black rope from my neck, clenched my fists, and walked towards him. She can't do anything to you, but I can give you a proper beating. Don't talk normally, my friend. No, brother. Before he could finish, I landed another punch on his bald head. Ah! In-law. Then, so. Master Baldy went spread eagle, arms raised, rolling on the ground like a turtle. His face was covered in snot and tears, begging incessantly. I lived a healthy life in prison for 8 years, exercising on time every day. Early to bed, early to rise, low oil, low salt diet, regular lifestyle. Dark tea, chill now. No women. 8 years passed. Physically, I was much healthier than most people my age. I swung my fists hard, so Master Baldy could also feel the surging health within me. He just kept wailing miserably, finally spitting out a mouthful of nosebleed. His head tilted to one side and passed out. When Master Baldy woke up, Chen Xiao and I had already packed our belongings and were preparing to leave. During this time, we had found dozens of bodies in the cellar behind the backyard. Some had decomposed to mere bones. That hellish scene almost made me vomit. It was then I finally understood why so many ghosts had attacked Chen Xiao and me. At this moment, Master Baldy's hands were tied, his face swollen, head bowed deeply. To conduct his ghost performer experiments, this madman had, for over a decade, deceived terminal cancer patients on the verge of death, claiming he could use magic to extend their lives. These patients, under the influence of the fear of death and the desire to live, sought out Master Baldy, hoping for a final glimmer of hope. But what they ultimately received was a horrific fate, more painful than dying from illness. Although I still didn't know why Chen Xiao was alive and had turned into something neither human nor ghost, what was certain now was that this murderer had reached the end of his road. In just 10 minutes, the police would arrive. By then, no matter how great Master Baldy's powers, he would rest peacefully under the death penalty of sacred materialism. I still don't understand, Master Baldy muttered. Why were my artifacts useless against you? This unexpected development had caused him great shock. He couldn't comprehend why I, after becoming a ghost performer, couldn't be controlled by him. I snorted coldly, saying calmly, because Chen Xiao and I never consummated marriage at all. What? Master Baldy's eyes widened. That's right. Last night, I never touched Chen Xiao. We stayed awake all night, just reminiscing about old times. So I'm still 100% human. Human versus human, Master Baldy. You were bound to lose. Chen Xiao, meanwhile, was tightly tying the bag full of demon cores and placing it on the black coffin used to preserve bodies. She said to the dejected Master Baldy, "Your biggest mistake was trying to trick 2 con artists." I lit a cigarette and brought it to my lips. Even the most foolish scammer wouldn't immediately believe a stranger. Moreover, your lies were full of holes. Master Baldy said nothing, his eyes full of suspicion. For example, at Mrs. Wang's door, you told Chen San to warn me not to touch Chen Xiao, or I'd die. But a moment later, you told us to consummate marriage. Hearing such contradictory statements, anyone would be suspicious. I took a deep drag from my cigarette. Furthermore, you underestimated the chemistry between Chen Xiao and me. We've worked together for years. A single glance is enough for us to understand each other. A third-rate con artist like you is far from being able to deal with us. Hearing these words, Master Baldy's head sank even lower. Then he suddenly burst out laughing. I'd be a fool to believe your words. That would truly be falling for your trick. Master Baldy slowly raised his head, staring at me, and said word for word, no need to talk if you're just going to ramble. What are you going to do next? Together with her, eradicate demons and devils. You think that's a great idea, don't you? Master Baldy is dead. There's no one to teach you magic, no one to give you weapons anymore. What's there to be afraid of? You're already so powerful. And with an effective assistant like me, no matter how skilled a ghost is. The sun gradually set. The world plunged into a somber yellow. I held the steering wheel, driving on the endless road. The back seats had been removed to accommodate the coffin containing Chen Xiao's body. In the rearview mirror, Chen Xiao sat on the black coffin, fiddling with the 2 daggers in her hands. I watched the sun dip below the horizon, taking a deep breath. There's something I never got to tell you. What is it? I missed you. Chen Xiao stopped her movements and stood up. A moment later, she whispered in my ear, "No need to miss me anymore." My gaze shifted back to the road ahead. I said in a low voice, honestly, "Even now, I still can't believe any of this is real." I even thought about going to a psychiatric hospital to check if there's something wrong with my mind. Maybe ever since I got out of prison and saw the letter you left, I've been agitated, and everything that happened afterward, from beginning to end, has been an illusion. Chen Xiao chuckled softly. So what if they find out you really do have a mental illness? I looked into her clear, radiant eyes and said, I'd firmly refuse treatment.